Hi, I'm Rita James. I have been a library tech for Burnett County Library System for 4 years. And before then, I was the librarian at Spicewood Elementary right up the next driveway and taught school there. So I was very familiar with the library, working together with them. I'm in charge of the children's programs. I do summer reading, and we are running out of space. We need a new library because we started our Tiny Tyke story time in our back section, and now we are in this bigger area because the kids can spread out and do stuff. Summer reading, we have at least 25 to 32 kids that come, and we are running out of space. I need somewhere for them to be able to listen to stories. When I have visitors coming, for them to hear whatever they're going to present, and also to do crafts. And we also need a bigger selection for reading for them. We had a STEAM program open up, and for 6th graders only. And the library at the time only had books through juvenile. They needed young adult books. We need more space.
I was born and raised here. My parents were school teachers. We always had books in the house. So I know the importance of books. I grew up with them. They taught us to read before we even really went to school. And I know that books really open up the entire world to someone if they have access to them, and not everybody does. So libraries were always a big deal in my family. So when my mother died, I promised her I would help get a library here. So Betty Slaughter came to me and said there's a new library organization, took me to a meeting, and I agreed to give them the land for the library, so they have a place to put the little double wide here and get it started. It sits literally in the middle of a hay pasture. Being so rural, it's going to be incredibly advantageous. It already is. There are very few third spaces anymore, spaces that aren't work or aren't, that people can gather. They're not work, they're not home. And Spicewood Library gives that to the community. They also offer connectedness, not just with other people, but with the world, with the internet, helping people get jobs. I listened to another man who was talking earlier and was talking about how it helped him get connected in the community when he moved here from out of state. I hope that it continues to be that. I think it always will. What I think is heartwarming is how, as soon as they had a place to put it, there were people, the whole community jumped in and made it happen. There were plumbers, electricians, a guy to move the double wide. It spoke highly of Spicewood making that happen. But yeah, that's the quirkiest thing about it. The funniest thing about it is, yeah, it's in a library in a double wide trailer house. I'm gonna be a little sad that the quirkiness of having a little redneck library in a double wide in the middle of a hayfield is going to be gone. But I know all things change, and I know they're going to have a wonderful, beautiful building here one day.
I'm Jim Lamar, and I'm Vice President of the board. I joined the board probably late 2005, so I've been a member now for around 20 years. And that was shortly after we moved to Spicewood from Florida. So it was one of our first activities to kind of give back to the community and to do some volunteer work. When I joined, the building had been identified where we're going to get it, but it was not here on the property. The property had been donated, and so we moved the building to the property after it had been leveled and cleaned up a bit, and then the building was rehabbed by volunteers. We had to convert a 2-bedroom manufactured home into a single bathroom building that would accommodate library books and handle the things we needed for children and adults as well. When the rehab was finished, then the big job was getting the books in the library. We had been collecting books for years that were donated by people in the area. And so one day we moved all the books down into the library, and on donated shelves, we put the books on the shelves because we had about 5,000 books on shelves. And you take them off one at a time, and then you you catalog them and then you put them back on the shelf. Then you have to take them off and put them in order where they belong. So we had a lot of volunteers from the area that were moving books from one shelf to the other and waiting for them to be cataloged. What the new library will offer us that this current library doesn't, not only will it be much larger, but it offers us the opportunity to do things that we can't do today. For instance, books. We've moved from 5,000 original donated books to over 11,000, or about 11,000. The problem is, with the shelving we've got and the space we have in this library, you can't put your hand between almost any book in the library because we're so tightly focused. Secondly, the library's used a lot for programs, and some of the programs we have for children are limited because we don't have space for it. The new library will have a multi-purpose room that will accommodate over 40 people. And so that, with a little bit of a kitchenette attached and areas like that, will allow us to provide a lot more of the community service functions as well. We're open now about 26 or 7 hours a week. We were open only 22 hours a week. My hope is that we become a full-time 40-hour-a-week library for the community to have it as much as any other community in the Burnett County area. And so I hope that by the time that building is up and operational, we'll be able to get the funding we need from the county to be able to keep it open 40 hours a week.